Have you ever heard of the blue zones? Those are areas around the world where the population tends to live longer than the rest of us, and they have a large number of people who live to be 100 or more. So where are they? I guess I should stop and introduce myself. I'm Dr. Stephen Schimpff, and this is part of a continuing series on aging gracefully. So these blue zones are areas where there's a high proportion of people that are over the age of 100. And just in general, lifespans are longer. So there's 5 of these areas that have been studied. I'm sure there's others, but there's 5. An area of Sardinia, the island off of Italy, Okinawa, Japan, Loma Linda, California, an area where there's a lot of Seventh-day Adventists that live, in a peninsula of Costa Rica, and in an island of Greece. So these areas have been studied, and I'll come back to the studies in a moment, but it turns out that our daughter has been to both Okinawa and Costa Rica recently, and she told me what I'm going to just review with you here. For example, in Costa Rica, well, in both areas, it's very isolated, very close-knit community, very communal. They interact with each other strongly. They all have a sense of a reason to live. Maybe you call it a life's purpose. They're very active in exercise, not like most of us where we say, well, let's get up from the computer and go out for a walk or go to the gym for a while. No, they're up and they're moving. It's just part of everyday life. They're always on the move. Their elders are respected. I think that's something that's not necessarily true here in America, but their elders are very much respected. Life has a purpose, as I've mentioned. And they eat, I would call it real food. Much of it's local. It's not prepared food, meaning not processed or prepared from a box or something. It's straight from the farm or even the backyard. They certainly eat meat, but it's all grass-fed. The chickens are all outside clucking and pecking in the dirt. And I guess the best way to say it is just natural food. As Michael Pollan said in his book, In Defense of Food, he wrote, eat food, meaning real food, not too much, mostly plants. Well, some other observations from Costa Rica and Okinawa were that there's a lot of sense of thankfulness and gratitude. And their stress levels, they let stuff roll off their back. They just don't let it build up and become a problem. So Dan Buettner, who wrote the book called The Blue Zones, who studied these 5 areas, came up with these 9 lessons. And you can see them there. Moderate, regular physical activity, a sense of purpose in life, low stress, moderate calorie intake, and it's mostly plant-based, but certainly not all. Alcohol intake is relatively low, but they drink quite a bit of wine. There's a lot of engagement in family life. There's a sense of spirituality and sometimes of religiosity, if you will, and very much an engagement in social life. So the question, of course, is if we all were to function in that fashion, would we all live a longer time? So next time, I'd like to do is talk a little bit more about living longer and living healthier.